It is April 9th, 2018, and this is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Man, Raw after Mania, what is going on? This week, got Raj Giri as always. Matt Morgan's coming along soon. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and thank you all for checking this out and hanging with us. Tonight's night 3 in a row doing the podcast, talking about the state of professional wrestling in the WWE.
Yeah, man. I mean, hot Raw, but good God, I am beat. It's because with the site, like last night I was up till 1, and then there's so much traffic that I had to, it's kind of constantly on your mind, so you can't really sleep. And then so I'm up like 3 hours later, had to do some server stuff and getting articles up. So it's a fun week. It's not like poor me, I guess, but I'm ready to catch some sleep at some point.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, man. I think, for us, we're in a blessed position where people want to hear what we have to say about it. So I think that we watch it, with a bit of a responsibility and obligation. But we talked about this a bit last night, with everyone so passionate to hear our thoughts with the podcast. I mean, it's an obligation, but also a privilege, I think, to be able to have this opportunity, to be on this showcase here with the podcast, and especially with the site like Wrestling Inc., which has just been killing it with these stories, cranking them out. I mean, you're right, man. I think you and the staff do not sleep at all. And I feel like, man, the last 72 hours, like I've just been living and breathing wrestling.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome. But yeah, it's been, I mean, what a stacked show tonight. Good God.
Yeah, seriously. So we'll talk about that. Do we want to jump right into it? Do we want, I guess, maybe address the big news today that happened first and foremost, of Brock Lesnar re-signing with the WWE?
Yeah. Let's get to that. Yeah, Brock re-signing. They didn't say much more than that. Like if it's a multi-year, if it's a short term, I don't know. I don't know if they would mention it if it was a short-term deal. Well, I guess since they had the storyline, they probably had to say something. But yeah, there was the big thing. Dana White was pretty convinced that Brock's going. There is that time that Lesnar has to wait before being put back in the USADA drug testing pool if he did go in that direction. But yeah, WrestleMania, the main event, everything makes tons more sense today,
Way
right?
more sense. And I watched it. I went back and rewatched Brock versus Roman right before Raw. And I will tell you, look at the news today. Let's get over ourselves and what we thought was going to happen last night, knowing, we know Roman's going to win. This is the year-long plan. Leave all that behind. And you know what? That match was a pretty good chapter in the story of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Now, I agree with you. If that had been on in the middle of the show, the crowd would have been more into it. But you put a year's worth of expectations after 7 hours of wrestling, and you're going to get a salty crowd that makes it almost impossible for them to succeed.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I think it was a hard hitting match. I mean, they were punishing each other, and Roman did get, bashed up pretty good. But yeah, I think the match placement, especially, they knew that Brock was winning. They knew that there was a good chance this match could go flat. They've been rehearsing the Rousey match. They knew what they had there, so they could have switched those, and I think it would have been a completely different result. But and I think it would have changed a lot of people's perception on WrestleMania. I think you kind of have half liking it, half didn't. I think a lot more people would have liked it. I think it would have been a solid thumbs up if you just switched those two matches and you ended up with that hot match going off the air. Because a lot of times just going off on a high note makes a big difference, because WrestleMania did have a lot of good on it.
Oh, absolutely, man. And that's part of the thing, in evaluating, because everyone's asking me a lot, I'm sure they were asking you as well, what was your favorite match of the night? I felt that the quality wall-to-wall was fantastic. Now, the problem was that Intercontinental triple threat would have been match of the night for me, except we saw that match so many times in the build-up to it that there was no surprise left. For me, it was Charlotte versus Asuka, based on the entrances, the in-ring storytelling, and the surprise at the end. I felt wall-to-wall that was the best WrestleMania match last night. I think Ronda and Kurt versus Triple H and Steph, that was a real crowd pleaser, man. I mean, you've always said, what's Vince's old school model? Keep it simple, send them home happy. It's shocking that Ronda did not close the show last night. That would have been the happiest note they could have gone out on.
Yeah, she overperformed. She was outstanding. That match was great. I mean, that was my favorite match of the night, and there was a decent amount to choose from. I agree. The triple threat. I still, we talked about last night, Nakamura versus AJ. I was going to start watching it again, but I just didn't feel like it. Maybe I will later this weekend.
Too high of expectations. They let the expectations get far too high on that match.
Yeah. And it just never built. It was almost like I was thinking about this later. It was almost like they were building to it, and then the Styles Clash happened. Like they were building to get to the point of the match where it really gets going. But when they got to that point, the Styles Clash happened and it ended. It's almost like the Styles Clash should have been a kick out, and that's where you start doing whether it's near falls, whatever it is. But that seems like that should have been where they really turned it on, and instead it kind of just ended. So anyway.
Crazy. But today, Brock resigning. He's going to face Roman in a steel cage at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia in 3 weeks. A live network event that is going to step all over Backlash and their build for that. Curious how they're going to be able to build those two events happening within 10 days of each other. Yeah,
and this event is stacked. You got that 50-man Royal Rumble, then you got with Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, some big names, and Triple H versus John Cena. Which I'm assuming a lot of people think that. Hey, what's up, Matt?
Hey guys.
So you heard Brock Lesnar re-signed, right?
Yep.
Now, it's not. There is some speculation that it's only a 1 to 2 appearance deal, so we'll have to see. But Brock was looking softer last night. He looked like he was not as gigantic as he usually is. Almost like he's, getting ready for hardcore testing. So, so it doesn't necessarily mean this is a long-term deal that he signed to.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt?
I see he's riding the gravy train. He's 41 years old, isn't working out as hard. And he never was going back and played this to a T. I said from day one, he ain't going back. It doesn't make sense for him to go back. He's about competing, right? That's what he's about. Why would he go back for a gimmick fight just for one more payday? He's plenty rich. You got to remember, this is Brock. He's a farm boy. He's got all the money on the planet. You know what I mean? He's good. He'd only go back if he was at the top of his game, I could see, and there was like a mega fight out there still for him to go, that would draw him back. There isn't.
So, take it for what it's worth, but according to Jeremy Botter of Bleacher Report, he's reporting that Lesnar is signed for just the one match. Dana White did say at the UFC 220, was it 223? That was this past Saturday. I'm out of it, but he did say that Brock, if he would come in and face the winner of Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, the UFC heavyweight title fight. So, we will see. We'll see.
Raj, now I'm sorry, Matt, go for it.
I just don't see how he would leave an easy payday with WWE.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unless he's bored with it, even, and the way this storyline's going. I'm curious, last night,
that could be true.
Supposedly he got in a big altercation with Vince McMahon. I guess details came out. Vince was not happy about the blood that was not cleared ahead of time last night, and also the spot they did at the German announcer's desk.
Did it come out why? I just know that there was a report that that Brock lashed out at Vince when he came through the back, not Vince lashed through it. That's
great thing about rumors. We all hear different things, and we can decide what's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it being Brock just being pissed with the crowd reaction.
Yes,
because he gets emotional with that kind of stuff, and I'm sure maybe he thought that this was Vince's storyline, and it turned the match into what it was. So who knows? I mean, it's not known for sure. But
bet you anything that's what it was. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So Superstar Shakeup is happening next week. We had some debuts tonight, some returns. So much to talk about. But first, hey, we got a sponsor this week. I want to do the ad right now so that way we can be uninterrupted the rest of the show. And fitting, our sponsor this episode is SeatGeek. You all know how buying tickets can be complicated and confusing, but there's a better way to buy, and that's SeatGeek. the smartest, easiest way to get tickets for every type of live event, especially pro wrestling, folks. Whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out with friends, or need to find the perfect gift, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, and it's fully guaranteed. There's nothing like being in person. Everyone that's watching this now from WrestleMania, that's listening, that went to Raw after Mania, you know, there's just something about being there. And SeatGeek is going to get you closer to the action for a better price, a greater value. I have the SeatGeek app on my phone. You've heard us talk about it before. We've used it.
We've used it many times now.
Yes, concert tickets, the theater, professional wrestling.
Bon Jovi.
It's essential, from Bon Jovi to Lady Gaga to Bananarama to Hamilton on Broadway to WWE house
Guns N'
shows
Roses,
in Stockton, California.
Yeah.
Everything you need, you can get on SeatGeek, and their app is the easiest way I found to shop for tickets. You can be anywhere, and with just a few taps, instantly find seats. You've heard us talk about it. You've heard the stories, and SeatGeek is designed to make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. You want to get tickets for SmackDown Live tomorrow night in New Orleans? Go on SeatGeek. They're going to save you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find you amazing deals. And you get the most bang for your buck because SeatGeek grades every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seats that fit your budget. Plus, again, every purchase fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. Make SeatGeek your go-to app for finding the best deals on every type of ticket, sports, concerts, comedy, theater, professional wrestling, and more. And best of all, our listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app for iOS or Android. Enter the promo code INC today. That's promo code INC to get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. SeatGeek, we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. And remember, folks, when you support our sponsors, you help make this podcast possible. So tonight, man, big Raw. The Raw after Mania. Corey Graves did the line, the classic JBL line. Tonight's the night where they cheer the people they normally boo and boo the people they normally cheer. It was a hot crowd.
Which wasn't really the case at all, right?
I know.
Except for Elias.
They just say that to cover Roman. It basically, that's the Roman disclaimer to the folks at home. It's like them saying, people really don't dislike him this much. It's just this weird
thing. But even Roman wasn't that, he wasn't as hated as he usually is, I felt like.
Yeah.
Like he got a lot of heat, but it wasn't like the crowd last night.
I expected more.
Yeah. He got through that segment, man. I mean, we'll talk about it, but power to him, man. I mean, that's tough. That is a tough audience to face. But let's talk about how the show opened up tonight. And that was with Stephanie McMahon coming out, putting herself over a little bit in her loss, wearing an arm brace, and then calling out her new best friend, Ronda Rousey, who was not having it. And Ronda ended up tossing her around, putting her in the arm bar. Real crowd pleaser segment. My question is, Matt, where do they go with Ronda from here? She had what many consider the match of the night last night at WrestleMania. Who do you put her up against for her first feud?
I have no clue. I really don't. It's going to depend on the superstar shakeup.
Yeah.
You know, there's a million different dream matches I'd like to see, but I don't know.
I think her first feud is a ways away. I think they're writing Stephanie off for a little bit. Ronda's going to be off for a little bit. They're going to do a one-on-one, I think, between Steph and Ronda. And once Ronda and Steph are done, and I don't know if they can drag that out until SummerSlam, but that's kind of where they're headed, is Rousey and Stephanie one-on-one first.
How do you think that'll be? Matt, how do you think that'll be? Steph doing a one-on-one match in the ring. It's been quite some time.
Fine. I think she'd be fine, actually. I think she'd be better than some of the other girls, surprisingly.
Well, plus, you see, like, when it comes to Steph and the McMahons, they work everything out ahead of time. So it's going to be, by the time they get to the ring, it's going to be on point. They're going to have everything worked out. So it'll be good. And Rousey, you know, she's coming through. You see her; she's way more comfortable than the first weekend. She's a superstar, and we knew that before, but she's become that in WWE as well, and she's owning it. I think she's awesome.
Yeah.
Now after this weekend,
was hot for her again tonight.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, hugely over. I was going to say, credit to the Wrestling Inc. fans on Twitter. One of them suggested this: if they want to a bit of a squash, she's been in this position before. King NJ90 said, "What about Alicia Fox after this weekend?" You know what? Remember that match where Nia just dominated Alicia Fox?
Yeah.
And Alicia was a trooper. She did it wasn't just your typical 1, 2, 3 squash. I mean, Alicia went through barricade, and I mean, it was pretty savage. But I think what you're saying with Steph, it makes sense. I just wonder, how do they keep the crowd invested if Ronda's not getting served with a storyline with more in-ring action?
Yeah, and they could do something to build to that. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Well, also less is more. The girl's not going to be out there every week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and she shouldn't be right now. She's special, and you don't want to kill special by having her on TV every week.
Yes. Although at a certain point, though, I mean, with Brock, I think that backfired on Brock.
Oh, I don't. I mean, he's been doing this for what, 8 years now?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For a while, it was special.
Yeah,
it's been a long time,
and it's still special when he's on.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of boring.
That was the first match, really, that since that fans have turned on a Brock match. Like the triple threat of the Royal Rumble, there wasn't much heat, but this was. I mean, you think back to his matches with AJ, Samoa Joe, Braun last year; they were all super heated. SummerSlam was awesome. So,
yeah. After that, we had another a lot of women's.
But real quick, that segment ended with Ronda going to shake Stephanie's hand, giving her a hug, then throwing her down and putting her in the armbar again,
which was cool.
Stephanie sold it big time, like she broke her arm.
God, looking at this, it was like the women's show for the first hour, the better part of the first hour. Nia Jax came out to face Mickie James and Alexa Bliss in a tag team match. Nia with her belt, Alexa trying to turn around and say that Nia was a bully, which I thought was fantastic. And then Nia calling out her partner, the debut of Ember Moon. You excited about this, Matt?
Yeah, good reaction, right?
Oh yeah.
I think whenever you bring in anybody that's new, you give them more of a center stage. You don't put them in the tag. You give them a singles. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
And plus, do you think they put too much on these post-Mania Raws, in the sense that if you spread some of these out over 3 weeks, like have returns, like Hardy return next week, and Samoa Joe the week. I mean, I know they got to build to Joe to reign, so like have that tonight. And Authors of Pain next week. Like not throw everything on the first one night, but 3 things this week, 3 things next week, a couple things the week after that. Kind of keeps the momentum, as opposed to I don't want to say that term again, but giving everything the night on just the night after.
Well, the way it used to be is before it was like acknowledged, hey, the Monday after Raw is the big deal. We were told in developmental, that's what they used to tell us in developmental. Like, you look forward to that night after Raw because that's when the next crop will be called up. Various dark matches, being invited out to doing house shows finally with the WWE main roster, or if you're lucky enough to be on TV that night. But never was it like a returning, superstar, that's already been on the main roster. Like it would be spread out a little bit more, but it would be like a Brock Lesnar coming through the crowd and making his debut. It would be, John Cena coming out on SmackDown the next night in his sweet highspots.com tights. It was shit like that would happen, but it would always be just the newbies. You know what I mean? And it would just be like 2.
You're right. Yeah. I just feel like, there were so many that you almost have to remind yourself, like, wait, who oh yeah, Lashley was on tonight. Oh yeah, Hardy came back. Oh yeah. Samoa Joe, like it's almost like you got to keep track after a certain point. Whereas it would stand out more if they didn't have everyone this week.
But Bobby, it would have been better with Bobby a couple weeks away, maybe a month away. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, wait until after that Royal Rumble event. And then also the one thing that they used to do back in the day is they would have a big angle that sucks like the new people in, like a big storyline, like Stone Cold with McMahon started the night after Mania, or but
McMahon Helmsley era, maybe. I don't know.
Right. So as opposed to just having a fun show, you also get people wanting to tune in for a storyline reason. And now it's just like it's a fun show. You have a bunch of NXT debuts for the crowd there. Most of the people at home don't know who they are, and then that's just kind of it. Like a bunch of new fans that are tuning in that aren't hardcore diehard fans don't have as much as a reason to stay tuned.
Well, at the end of the show, when they were talking about the superstar shakeup, I don't know if you guys caught this, that I think it was Michael Cole that legitimately said, like, a new season of Monday Night Raw starts next week. And it was like, when have they said that on the air? You know what I mean? Like, it's always felt like that, and it's been acknowledged as that, but it was kind of weird for him to be like, hey, everything new is going to start after next week, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how they're treating it. Because I agree with you, man. Tonight was a great spectacle, but for story, not so much.
Yeah.
So that match happened. Ember got the win. Pins.
And let me say this real quick. A lot of people are asking. A lot of people are confused about the greatest Royal Rumble. So that's on a Friday, and it's in Saudi Arabia, whatever time it's at. But in the U.S., it's noon Eastern time. So it's like 9 o'clock your time in the morning. So take the call. Call off of work that day because it'll be stacked. But
we doing a podcast after?
Yep. So
okay.
If you guys could make it.
You heard it here. Yeah. I got it on my calendar. Wake up at early and watch the Royal Rumble.
It's the same time. Yeah. It's this. Yeah.
Yeah. Not as bad as Beast in the East, but still. Yeah, man. So Ember Moon won in her debut in that tag. I mean, it was solid crowd pop for her, but man, they're giving time to the women, which was very nice to see. Now backstage,
kind of to Matt's point, I just feel like Nia won the title. I'd rather her just do something on her own tonight. I agree.
But they don't know what that story is. I don't think.
Yeah.
And notice Asuka nowhere to be seen tonight.
Right.
So, new season starts next week, folks.
Yeah, good pop for Ember Moon. Again, we've talked about this before. A lot of times they'll bring these people in from NXT. You get the big pop the night after, and then you start taking them to these towns where not as many people know them. The pop dies down, and then they get moved down quickly. It'd be cool, like for someone like an Ember Moon, not No Way Jose, but someone like Ember Moon, to do after this. People saw her now do some vignettes, some videos showing her to kind of introduce her more to the fans that aren't familiar with her. And then bring her back on TV in a few weeks.
But Matt, don't you think with her look that she's almost instantly gonna stand out and connect?
She should, but so should have Finn Balor's demon character.
That's
so
true.
Here's the thing. The other thing they should be doing is instead of making them debut, show coming soon. Show some vignettes.
Yeah. And I think they should get in the habit more NXT guest appearances to build intrigue and familiarity. I mean, because it gets this pop in the right market. It's kind of weird that they haven't done that in the last couple.
No Way Jose got a giant pop. Guaranteed he won't be getting that pop.
No Way Jose and authors of Pain and No Way Jose will be forgotten. I'm telling you right now, out of what happened on the show tonight, as far as returns and call-ups, those two suffered.
Really? You think Authors of Pain? I agree with you. Yeah. I think vignettes would have helped Authors of Pain out because you show them as just as badass guys, and then you get people excited to see them.
They didn't look, and plus, and maybe this isn't the writer's fault, and actually might be their fault. They fucked up on that tag tonight, and now that they were dead in the water. I don't know if you guys caught that. The dude had to walk all the way back, get back through the ropes, and re-tag. You didn't see that shit with the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
it was very uncomfortable. It was a record scratch moment. I was like, no, I've been waiting for you guys to get called up forever. No.
Yeah, they're still green as hell. That's where they would have benefited if SmackDown, and I don't think SmackDown should go back to a tape show by any means, but they would have benefited by going to a SmackDown and then on a tape SmackDown so they could edit their stuff and,
Here's what it is. The referee made him go back and do that, and I hate that. When I was still there, is right when they started doing the whole, you have to listen to the ref now. You can't because before, you used to be able to make, miss, not even tag in and blow a comeback and even get the win in a tag match sometimes. We would use creative liberties, we would call it, right? But here's a situation where you just killed two guys dead off in the water because of some bullshit technicality. Look, who gives a crap? I didn't even notice the tag was missed by an inch or a centimeter. Do you know what I mean? Don't make them go back all the way and go through it again. You killed the kids in the water. That ain't the time to do that crap of saying you have to listen to the referee.
Yeah. And it wasn't a championship match. A squash against Heath Slater. It
is a work.
Yeah.
It's not real. in that regard. Settle down.
No, I agree. So after the segment where Ember Moon pinned Alexa Bliss, I don't know about what you guys saw on social media, but oh my God, the thing with Braun and Nicholas blew up probably since Ellsworth. I mean, honestly, is the last time that I saw people so delighted, and they retired the gimmick, put a stop to it immediately tonight, and Braun was MIA the rest of the show. So Nicholas, citing his conflicts with school, is going to retire for now, undefeated, the youngest WWE champion ever. Sorry, Rene Dupree. Yeah, it's
that's right, Rene Rose. Damn.
I think that was the best comedic line Braun has ever had. He said he has a scheduling conflict. He's still in the 4th grade. I mean, that the way he delivered that was just perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they go with Braun right now. It doesn't seem like they had much for him. I mean, they didn't have anything for him at WrestleMania. I mean, they have him win the titles, just to relinquish it the next night. But
yeah,
hey, man, the fans were into Nicholas, and
in the summer, if they got nothing for Braun, I absolutely see them bringing this kid back.
No, they're not. He's 10.
Hey, still, if I would have told you, in fact, I go back in the archives in the days of me, Raj, and Bixen Span. I think one of those nights, if someone said, I think this Ellsworth guy, I could see them bringing him back, Raj would be like, oh no, that'll never happen.
There's a difference between Ellsworth, where he can do something in the ring.
It's the ref's kid. It's the ref's kid.
Yeah, but he can't do anything in the ring. That's illegal.
Ellsworth barely did anything in the ring. And the gimmick is that he doesn't do anything in the ring. He just stands there.
That's already been done.
I know.
Anyways, that'll be a step back for Strowman if they did that.
I agree. I'm surprised they didn't launch him with something new tonight. But again, new season next week. We'll see what happens. We got the teaser announcing No Way Jose. The entrance was longer than the match. I think there was 1 strike, knockout punch for the quick win against John Skyler. I don't want to be the naysayer on talent. I want to see everyone succeed. But Raj, we were talking about this on Twitter. I think he's going to get 1 pre-show match at Backlash. My guess is Goldust, who ends up dancing with him after No Way Jose wins. And I'm thinking WWE main event after that.
This gimmick is death. He's got good size and everything. He's got a decent look, but this thing is going to kill him. I mean, he's Adam Rose
with a better entrance,
with a better tan. Yeah,
better song.
Yeah, I mean, with more size. I mean, like I said, he's got size, but this thing is just death. And he looks exactly like Adam Rose coming out with the new rosebuds.
With the Congo line, yeah.
Yeah.
In NXT, it had died. When's the last time you had a prominent NXT match?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Brooklyn 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's death. But again, this is the disconnect with the post-Mania crowd, where these guys loved him tonight, right? They popped huge when he came out. Popped huge when they said he was up next. And what's reality?
Look, nobody with dancers around the ring gets over it. It's never going to work.
Has it ever? I can't ever think of it working.
Because it's dumb.
Yeah. Well, I can't think of someone dancing cheerfully as a babyface really getting over. I mean, you got Shawn Michaels, who was an arrogant prick, so that worked for
that does
for that.
Not
That's
count.
very different. Yeah. But this cheesy, happy dancing, I can't think of it ever working.
No, no way, Jose. You do what I just said. That wasn't done on purpose. That wasn't even done on purpose.
We'll see. We'll keep watch here on the podcast. How many weeks this lasts? So the Bar approached Kurt Angle backstage saying they wanted their tag team titles back since Braun and Nicholas relinquished them. And they set up the tag team eliminator, and it will be the Bar against the winner of this little tournament they're doing in Saudi Arabia on April 27th. First match tonight was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the Revival.
It was just the 4 teams, right? It's just a 4-team tournament, so
something like that. Yeah. Competitive match, kind of short, but the Revival picked up a win.
Yeah.
Knocking out Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah.
What do you think of that decision, Matt? How do you think Gallows and Anderson are faring at this point into their WWE career, almost 2 years in?
What do you mean by that?
Well, because they came in with a lot of heat, right? Like they almost treated them like they were the New Japan NWO coming into.
Whoa.
No, remember they came in through the crowd. They literally
I wouldn't say
had,
the NWO, but they were hot when they came in.
They had the Outsiders exact same entrance. They didn't get on the mic and say, "You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here." But it was treated like that. Who are these guys? These guys from New Japan showing up here, or I didn't say New Japan, but they gave them that kind of entrance. People were very high on them. Now they held the titles for a brief spell, but I don't know. I just feel that it's not a good sign if they were out to the Revival tonight in the first round of this thing.
They were wearing pumpkins on their head on Halloween.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a statement on how it's gone thus far. I'm sure they're happy with the money they're making.
Yeah, I mean, really, ever since they were split from AJ, when they did the brand split, they've been kind of, I wouldn't say dead in the water, but just kind of floundering where it's between pre-show and nothing, you know? It's too bad. They're talented as hell. They're funny as hell.
Yes, they are.
They got tons of charisma, but they're just not given the right venue to showcase it. And it's one of those things that as a singles, I could see Vince liking Luke Gallows, but not getting into Carl Anderson just because of size.
Yep.
They should probably also not be on the same brand as the Revival.
I don't think that matters.
You don't think so?
I think they'll be on the same position on SmackDown if they weren't paired up with someone.
Yeah, man. So, what'd you think of the match tonight with them, Matt?
Fine for what it was.
Yeah.
Nothing special.
Yeah, I think with AOP debuting, I think it's going to be AOP versus The Bar in Saudi Arabia. That's my.
I don't think they'd get there that quick.
Who's going to be Titus Worldwide?
Worldwide.
No, actually, wait.
I could see Bray and Matt Hardy.
Me too.
I think they'd go that direction first.
Yeah, maybe.
Was Authors of Pain? Was that a tournament match? I thought that was just
So
they weren't even in the thing. It was Bray and Matt against Titus Worldwide.
Yeah.
Rollins came out, the loudest, burn it down, as Intercontinental Champion. Seth Rollins called out and interrupted by Finn, who wanted to congratulate him, interrupted by The Miz, setting up a match and then interrupted by Jeff Hardy, setting up a match for later in the evening.
And Jeff Hardy's one of those returns tonight. I felt like kind of got overshadowed, even though he was in the main event, right? Like it felt like a big deal when he first came out, and by the end it was kind of forgotten. But I will say this about Rollins: I think he was tremendous as a heel, but I think he's really starting to come through as a babyface. Like I think he's really starting to connect and get that connection with the fans. I mean, I guess he has been, but it's really starting to be more main event level. I feel like as a babyface.
Yep.
Set up the match for later in the evening, but before that, Mandy Rose versus Sasha Banks.
Wait, we got to talk about the Miz coming out.
Oh yeah.
Miz coming out talking about how they made his daughter cry and that made his wife cry and then he cried. I thought that was great.
God bless the Miz.
Yeah, so he wants a rematch at Backlash. So they're building to Backlash and this Greatest Royal Rumble. It kind of gets a little confusing.
I just want to break these guys up. I feel like the three of them, even with Jeff Hardy, it's the same problem the U.S. title has on SmackDown.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe next week it does happen.
Yeah. So Mandy Rose versus Sasha Banks. Bayley helped Sasha lose this match, setting up a one-on-one match between Bayley and Sasha next week. Is this Mandy Rose's first singles win on the main roster?
Could have been. It's a good question. That's a very good question.
I know they had a lot of tags, but this was certainly her longest one-on-one match that she's had. And I think what overshadowed all of that is that Paige, the same city she made her debut in 4 years later.
Well, before we get to that, Mandy beat Sasha. They did the same. Bayley ran out and screwed it up for Sasha, causing Sasha to lose. I'm not done with the storyline now. I feel like they're doing the same thing every week. Sasha and Bayley are two of the most over women on their roster, and I just feel like this storyline just sucks, and they got no new ideas. They're just doing the same thing.
Drip.
Yeah.
It's a slow drip when it should have been. Something should have happened. They haven't pulled the trigger on this, and I don't think they're going to next week.
they keep splitting up, and they're not splitting up. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's stupid at this point. Insulting to the intelligence of the average viewer, quite frankly. So yeah, Mandy got the win. And then Paige. Oh my God. So we've known this since when? December, Raj?
I think January is when we knew that she couldn't come back. Like that was when she got the prognosis.
No work, no swerve, no playing the audience. She straight up said what'd you almost say? She's retired from she almost said active competition, but then changed it.
I thought she was going to say wrestling, but then had to remember not to say wrestling.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Very emotional.
Yeah, it made it sound like she was done. Like she's not going to be on, with Absolution or be like in a managerial role.
At first, I thought it was the other way. Like she said, I'm retiring from wrestling, but guess what? I'm going to still be out here with these two girls. And then it was, she's done.
Right. Yeah. Cause she said she has to find something else to do or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
And it's like, you got so much talent. You can do a lot, here. So, and maybe she just doesn't want to, cause I'm sure she's been presented that option.
It's a rough schedule if she has to be doing house shows with them and things like that, and not to get that high that you get by being a performer. Depends on how she's set financially is really what it comes down to, I would imagine. I don't know.
Yeah. It's sad. I mean, you think about it was 4 years ago. It feels like she's been around a long time, but a year and a half of that she was gone. So it's really.
I didn't like Michael Cole downplaying. She was here just for a short period of time, but in that short period of time, she did. Shut up, Cole.
Right? Well, yeah, you don't say that.
Cole and Coachman were just complete garbage tonight on commentary.
Oh man,
Coachman.
This is a hard. What a hard episode to debut on. Like,
yeah.
Have you paid attention? Have you ever seen a Raw after Mania?
Or calling, he's got the whole world in his hands, a soccer chant.
Yeah.
And then when he said the greatest Royal Rumble, this very well could be the greatest event since WrestleMania last night. It's like it's in 3 weeks. That's the next event.
Hey guys, I just want to say something to the fans watching this show. I had to go pick up some medicine for my 4-year-old Jackson before this place closed at 12 a.m. So I apologize for my surroundings, and if my connection sucks, I really do apologize even more.
No, your connection actually is fantastic. It hasn't dropped a single time,
and now I'm stuck at Walgreens because I don't want to have it get lost. That's freaking dedication.
No, Matt is the MVP of this podcast. I was gonna say, Raj and I here are barely awake in the comfort of our own home, and you're just out and about doing stuff while positing thoughts about Monday Night Raw. So props to Matt.
One more thing Coachman said that I was just shocked by was he made a Make-A-Wish pun during the Kevin Owens match. Jesus. We saw it's Make a World Wish, and these guys are making a wish that they win this match or something like that. And I was like,
it was brutal.
Freaking kidding, making a Make-A-Wish pun.
Brutal.
At some point they were like, could you imagine if The Miz went to SmackDown? Yeah, actually, that was just a year ago.
Yeah,
it was terrible tonight.
Corey has a lot of weight to carry on his shoulders.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yes.
Man, that sucks for Paige.
Sucks for her. She said she talked about how she spoke with Edge, talked to Daniel Bryan, and that it kind of gave her hope, kind of leaving that that hope that maybe one day she could come back. But it's really sad. It's always.
I thought that was cool though, Raj, because it gives the fans a little bit of something, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of hope along with her in reality.
Absolutely. They're very different injuries. Paige's is more like Edge's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Paige's is a neck thing, like what Edge had that ended his career.
And what was DB's? Concussions?
Yeah, it was just concussions. I mean, not just concussions, but I'm not downplaying concussions.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. No, but it was the lesion on his brain that was the big.
Sorry.
Right, which apparently some doctors felt like that wasn't what it was. So, obviously, because he's since been cleared by everyone.
I mean, interesting timing. Interesting if this was indeed the plan tonight, given that they just started promoting her movie so heavily. And even last night before the Women's Royal Rumble, they're like, "Oh, Paige, maybe next year." You know?
Did they? I remember it was really awkward when Michael Cole
She
said, "Well,
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she said it. Yeah, and then there was the longest awkward silence.
So awkward. So yeah, I get it tonight. It makes sense. This is where she made her main roster debut. 4 years ago, the Raw after Mania in New Orleans. So, man, I mean, this would have been an end set. I mean, this would have been a huge standout segment on any other show. But kind of like to your point, Raj, so much happened tonight. A huge moment like this gets a little lost in the shuffle, or at least is in danger of that. Following that was Elias, who came out. Did the Elias thing, man. Great crowd for him to be in front of tonight. Just really demonstrating what an ace he is at this.
he could do nothing to get booed by this crowd.
Dude, what did he say? Punch him in their face.
Punch him in the face. He called them all scumbags, and the crowd started chanting, "We are scumbags." Elias, man, he tried. I loved him, but
he didn't break.
Yeah, no, he was great. You know what was crazy? Bobby Lashley, so Bobby Lashley came out. It's kind of known that he would probably be coming out tonight, that he was starting after Mania. And then it, came out before that he was going to be on tonight. But Bobby Lashley looked gigantic. Elias didn't look that much smaller than Bobby Lashley standing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think he dwarfed him at all.
Yeah, I mean, they looked kind of
Elias was right there with him.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Elias is a big dude, man.
He is. It's underrated. I don't know if it's because of the scarves or
the scarves and the kimonos, man. Those are deceptive garments.
But his arms were right there. Bobby's are a little bit more cut, but size wise, his arms are right there with him.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
So,
the one thing I was nervous though because Elias is so damn over.
Yeah.
but the other thing, guys, is I don't know if you heard it. Bobby got a very different reaction, like a very different holy shit, like jaw drop reaction tonight, I thought, which was really cool and very authentic.
Yeah.
Very organic. I liked it.
Yeah, it's Lashley, people forget he's been gone a long time from WWE.
Dude, almost as long as me, actually, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he was around, when ECW was there. So, gosh.
07? 06, 07?
Yeah, that
was. It was.
He was there.
2008 is when he left.
2005 to 2000.
10 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And he looks amazing. Obviously, I mean, just ripped to shreds. Yeah. And he's been doing his best work like the last 5 years. I thought in TNA, like he's really started coming into his own. So.
I'm very interested to see like what he's able to do now that he can do the whole package because he can.
Yeah. Hopefully they let him run with it and not give him a bunch of scripted stuff to say. Which I mean, they will give him a bunch of scripted stuff to say. But
yeah, he doesn't have to be stoic monster anymore. You know what I mean? He showed he can have more layers and more depth.
Yeah.
When he's done so much, I mean, between MMA, TNA, the WWE, I just was looking over his Wikipedia again, and actually, I have to admit, I was really bummed because in 2011 to 2012, he did something called Shark Fights. I was gonna be like, they have a thing where dudes fight sharks, just to name folks, not an actual thing. I was very excited for a split second. Can you imagine how awesome that would be? Like, I'm just gonna punch a shark. That would be badass.
Yeah. So Lashley, this wasn't a match. I think it's so Lashley, got Elias up, held him up in that jackhammer for like a minute.
Was insane.
Yeah, and I think that's where Lashley's headed. It's a feud with Elias for maybe till at Backlash.
Yeah, and I guess the plans for him and Brock are on pause, pending. If there's more with Brock after Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we'll see. Now there's another report, Sporting News is saying that Bobby's... so don't listen to forget all the Brock reports. He's re-signed for some number of time, for some length of time with WWE. Sporting News is saying it's a multi-year deal that allows him to fight for the UFC, and he's going to fight for the UFC title, and that he was insistent on it.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
He ain't leaving that gravy train, guys. No way.
It's a sweet deal.
Not altogether. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of TNA, I hear that they're hiring per Kurt Angle tonight on Monday Night Raw.
Man, that line popped me big.
Man, they're 10 years too late.
Well, I think they wouldn't have said it 10 years ago.
Is that
I think that's the thing. Like, they consider them so little a threat now that they can use them as a punchline now on TV.
But they're not called TNA anymore. Isn't that the reason they said that?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. No, it was funnier. It's TNA, even now I still call it TNA, even though it's Impact Wrestling. It just flows off the tongue better, I just feel like the 3-letter acronyms for major sports, it's got to have the 3-letter acronyms, otherwise it's
right. I agree.
So yeah, Kurt Angle said my tag. So Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn showing up backstage, and Kurt Angle saying my tag division is full. I hear that TNA is hiring, which led to a TNA chant later in the night, that has to be the first time ever in WWE.
I want to say there was I could be wrong. I could have sworn there was a couple times over the years, but 08, 09.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Now that does sound kind of familiar.
I don't remember what the hell happened though for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, that shocked me.
Same here. That was hilarious. My wife goes, "Oh!"
Yeah. I think Daniel Bryan said TNA on just Talking Smack a couple times, but that's the first time I've heard it on Raw.
It was called Gallows and Anderson, the Bullet Club on Talking Smack, and it was,
They're a little different with Japan, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they'll allow New Japan and stuff like that, but TNA was always
never.
Yeah.
So Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens want a job. Kurt said, "You go out there and have a match. I got one spot open. Winner gets it." And that match happened later in the evening. Man, this was the crowd to put that in front of for sure. Then we had Heath Slater and Rhino out there calling out. Then the Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering appear. AOP.
By the way, TNA, Impact sent out a tweet after that segment saying, "We are Impact." So just letting them know that they're no longer TNA.
You idiot. Oh, Jesus.
What are you going to do?
They're watching the show.
Just shut up, you guys.
Yeah, so AOP pretty much squashed. I actually like that this wasn't just your traditional 1, 2, 3 squash, similar to what they did with Bobby. They got a chance to show off some of their moves, some of their strengths, some of their dominance. Yes, they missed a tag, and as Matt pointed out, the ref made them go back.
Yeah, that killed that energy, that momentum.
It really pissed me off, man. It really pissed me off. Those poor kids.
Yeah.
And then they left Paul Ellering. When they left the ring, people speculated he didn't want to travel. So
no, that is exactly why. He was never supposed to, be a main roster guy. But why even have him on this show?
Give him one last. I mean,
but the majority of the people watching this don't know don't know that these guys. In the audience, they do fine, but you just wait. They're going to be shooting the next set of NXT TV tapings. Do the breakup there, and that's it. And that's the audience that knows them. That's the audience that's been following them.
Good call, Raj.
It's a one-off for 3 million people that don't watch NXT, and it's just like, what the hell is that? Because
maybe now we're going to get a stupid storyline of Goldust and Kurt Hawkins and people going, "Here, you guys need a new manager." We're going to get that.
Ellering made it clear from the beginning that he doesn't want to go full time on the road. And
but that's what I'm saying. So that's why they did it tonight for a story.
Great, but let me ask you this: do you think maybe they just did it to get Paul technically on a Monday Night Raw episode?
That's cool.
It could be, but then they should. I feel like if that was it, they should have made a little more of a big deal that who he managed and what a legendary guy he is, as opposed to just kind of throwing him out there. And
I meant for clips. Do you know what I mean? For I always think of highlight packages for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
His daughter gets called up right one day. There's a million different things I was thinking of. Maybe why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they could have done it. Yeah.
Roman Reigns came out to a mixed reaction.
More boos, but definitely not as hateful as yesterday.
Not what I was expecting. I expected him to get pelted with, Gatorade bottles full of piss tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be similar to, his thing with Undertaker last year where he's booed for a couple minutes straight. Well, like last year was something crazy that he was booed for, but I was expecting him to get booed so hard that it would take him a few minutes to start talking, but it wasn't too bad.
They let him get through his promo.
I wonder if he won the title, if it would have been a lot worse.
I think, I don't know. Yeah.
Because, it didn't come across as so much as the chosen one now. And I wouldn't say they cut him slack, but they weren't as vicious.
They weren't.
And I think it was saved, the situation, because Samoa Joe came out. And let's walk through his promo a second. So basically he, dissed Reigns, and then Reigns had mentioned he's doing this cage match in Saudi Arabia with Lesnar. But Joe essentially said, I'll be waiting at Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Set that up. So that was nice.
So I mean, it's kind of, when you think of that WrestleMania ending now, it's kind of, I still think they should have swapped it with Rousey and done it in the middle of the show, but it's kind of genius. If the plan is for Reigns to win the title, he's going to win it in a stadium in Saudi Arabia. And those fans, he's huge over there. They're going to go nuts for him winning there, assuming that's what happens. So you get the coronation. It's not at WrestleMania, but you got tons of people cheering. He beats Lesnar. And they don't, there's not a backlash. So I don't see them having Reigns lose again.
I thought you were being clever. There's not a backlash until 2 weeks later on the WWE Network.
No. Your crowning achievement, WrestleMania, the confetti, again, for video package purposes, when you tell the story, it's not the same thing as him totally jobbing out at WrestleMania like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same, but he does get that. He does
jobbed out, guys. That was a straight job, more or less.
Yeah.
Do you think this will be a deal where Reigns wins it in Saudi Arabia, or you think Joe costs him the title?
Yep.
Huh.
I think Joe costs him the title.
I think Reigns wins it. I think it's too long for Lesnar to be not having a full-time champ on the road. I think they need to.
Didn't we think that going into Mania? What's the difference?
That's true. That's why I'm not saying it's happening.
I don't trust them anymore.
Right.
Wait, you don't trust it's not you don't trust the WWE. You don't trust the rumors and speculation of what you think the WWE is going to do.
No, they pretty much outright told us when we what are you guys doing? Braun Strowman versus Brock. He's white hot. Why would he not go over on Brock? Just wait. You just wait. We got to save him for a WrestleMania versus Roman. They all but said that. I'm right.
I know you're right.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, except very different because The Rock, I think it was WrestleMania 16 when they did it in LA, and it was supposed to be The Rock and Triple H one-on-one. For the world title. Rock had turned babyface. He was the biggest babyface now. And then they turned it into a four-way with everyone having McMahon in their corner. And then Triple H won. And they saved that Rock coronation for some B show down the road. And it just wasn't the same. It was so stupid.
I, as a mark, kept purchasing the pay-per-views because I wanted to see Rock finally do it. Yeah. I swear to you. I was in college and I could hardly afford it, but I did it.
Yeah, but he didn't get that crowning big WrestleMania big title with it.
No. He eventually did go over, though. I remember me and my wife watched it, so he eventually did go over.
Yeah, he did. I think
between him and Hunter, for the title.
Yeah, I think they traded it a couple more times, but yeah, he did. He did eventually win it, but it wasn't at Mania. It was down the road. Yeah.
I'll be curious to know when they made this decision last night at Mania. How close to the match did that come down?
I'm sure once Lesnar resigned, they probably had the idea to just change it.
Well, I don't understand the logic in it, though. Why? If he's resigned, you've got him. You own him. Why does he have to be the champion? That's the time to. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not a great negotiation tactic when you think about it.
Okay,
Like,
so yeah, Mickey is saying so. It was the month after at Backlash when The Rock beat Triple H for the title. So they didn't do it at Mania; they did it at Backlash. And so
I remember Rock chasing him for a while, being annoyed.
yeah, I think they changed it back. Like I think Triple H won it back, and they had a marathon match. Like they had like an hour-long Iron Man match, and Undertaker interfered, and Triple H won it again. I remember they traded it a bunch of times. And yeah,
it was something where it was really annoying as a fan, though. You know, I remember being really frustrated as a mark about it, and kept shelling out my pay-per-view money.
I was too, because also they kept jobbing The Rock out for a while, and I remember, he did so many jobs there for a while for that a top guy, top babyface.
Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, see, I remember this.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, we digress.
Yes. No, I was just doesn't it feel like it's been more than 24 hours since WrestleMania? We were 24 hours ago talking about Mania. It's just
Takeover seems like it was a week ago.
Yes, that's true. I went back and watched a bunch of the Mania matches again, a couple of times each.
Did anything change?
No, I still loved Charlotte and Asuka just as much. I still loved AJ Shinsuke. I still loved Daniel Bryan, obviously. I tried to watch Brock and him again, and it was horrible to watch. I couldn't get through it.
See, we're going to have to, I guess we won't be on the same page with AJ, but and I love AJ. And, again, I think part of that too is I was expecting match of the year too as well.
Yeah, they really oversold that.
So high.
Did they call that Dream Match? I feel like Dream Match was used by the WWE in the selling of this.
Yeah, I wasn't picturing like Rock versus Hogan, but I was picturing like Jericho versus HBK, like something like that, where but they still have time to do that.
So we got a second tag team eliminator match. Tag team eliminator. Why eliminator, not elimination? Whatever. And that was Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt going over Titus Worldwide tonight. So Matt and Bray have teamed up. Based on what we saw last night at the Battle Royal, they're together. What do you guys think of the shtick together, Matt? Does it kind of gel for you, or is it like the time when you see insane people in the park and two of them just happen to be able to hold a conversation?
I don't know what to make of it. I like it. I don't know. Anything they do with Matt and they keep trying to give him an opportunity, I like it. You know what I mean? Because I like the character he's playing. I do. I think they heard it a lot, but I'm hoping they're able to pull something out with this, because that's a crazy ass character to be taking a chance on. If you're a Hardy, if you're Matt Hardy, right? You're guaranteed Hall of Fame. You're guaranteed one of the greatest tag teams in the history of the business. You know what I mean? Matt Hardy version 1, he did some cool single stuff on his own. To take that risk that he's taken with that, I want to see it pay off, So maybe that's why I view it very differently.
And I think a lot of people, because I've been negative on Bray Wyatt being stale for so long, think I don't think Bray's talented or something. I see so much upside in Bray. I've been wanting him to turn babyface for a long time. So I feel like at least this starts him on refreshing his character, because I think he is super talented, and it gives him that chance to do something new, because he's been doing the same thing for so long.
His character, though, you can't expect him to do a different character, right?
No, but not that, but just change his shticks up some,
like what would you want?
Well, now you're not hearing him talking about, oh, I laugh at you, Matt. You make me laugh. You and the fools out there. He's that same. You all are dead, and you cheered your dead heroes, and that kind of that shtick where. After 30 seconds, you tune out with what he's saying. At least it's something different.
Hey, guys, forget the recap. I just want to hear Raj do impressions of wrestlers for like the next half hour.
If I wasn't so tired, I think I could do a better one. But
No, I get what you're saying, and they kind of tonight just ended me like, ha 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 ha, like doing the laugh with it because I think they don't kind of know how to make a mashup yet of both their shticks. But I thought with Jeff, the way Jeff sort of turned it on a little bit and then went back to just being normal, I thought that was cool. To the confused looks of Finn and Seth backstage, I like
that made that segment for me.
See, that's what I've been saying all along too, is having a straight guy to the wackiness.
What the freak is this?
Right.
Yeah.
And you haven't had that to this. We just had two guys out weirding each other. And I thought that was gold with this stuff with
it was
Finn and Seth.
It really was. How great did they highlight the intercontinental level wrestlers tonight, right?
Yeah. Because that's all they got without Brock there.
But without saying it that way, they all were presented as big stars, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, and I care. And what's great about it is that I think the audience, not just us, but I think the audience cares about these guys more than they care about Brock and Roman, which is the entire problem. Yep. I mean, think about what you guys are talking about back to these Triple H, Rock, Stone Cold, Mankind, all the guys that were at the top, the audience was hell of into. We've had two guys at the top, and the audience is like, okay.
Because it's the time of the sign of the time. Real quick, Raj. Sign of the times. They don't listen to the audience anymore. That's the difference back then versus now. Yeah,
exactly. Because I was just thinking, Finn. We're talking about that segment. And you're talking about how the Intercontinental scene is great, but Finn, Jeff Hardy, and Seth could easily be in the main event scene. And could you imagine? Could you imagine if Seth was the one that beat Lesnar and they did the underdog thing with him and he ended up winning, and how the fans would go insane?
Absolutely.
So,
hell yes.
I mean, these are main event guys that could, with a little booking help, could be there, but
yes,
they're being held down.
So this was good for Matt and Bray tonight. They're getting their legs with it. We'll see how it evolves. They did the match. I thought the finisher was kind of cool with Apollo going to Sister Abigail into the twist of fate for the win. Mm-hmm. And you're right. They could very well end up being who faces the bar in Saudi Arabia if they are not serious about AOP.
And what about the 300 finishers they kept hitting? Was that just because they ran out of time? I felt like I was missing out on something. Like I missed something.
Oh, in the tag match?
Afterwards, they hit the finisher like 55 more times.
Oh, yeah. I think that was just... Yeah, I think that was just them showing each other, like showing off to each other or something.
That's what you do on house shows to pop the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and
I'm sorry, Jeff had a rough landing on that second, what do you call it, off the top?
Oh, the IC title at the end. Yeah, that was
you're not talking about Titus and Titus Worldwide and
Matt.
No, I'm talking about Jeff. I'm talking about Jeff Hart.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I apologize.
Oh, no problem. But I mean, remember, Glenn, the AOP aren't in the tournament.
You don't think they're gonna? Oh, so they're not in the tournament. Okay.
No, I think it was just those 4 teams, and now we're down to 2.
Oh, that's a short tournament.
They don't have any other teams. Who else are they going to put in?
I guess. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could throw Slater and Rhino against AOP again, but but no, I think that was it.
Okay, so Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. One-on-one match. Best crowd to do this in front of.
Yeah.
Tonight. Mm-hmm. Sammy getting the Olay chance again. How long's it been since he had the Olay? Man, the crowd really dug this. Double count out. A while since they've done one of those as well. But this was just, this was the classic match. The match these guys have been evolving and working on now for a decade.
Yeah, and I liked how they didn't do a double count out outside the ring. This was a little different how they did the draw. Yeah. Or the double pin is what they always go to lately. I mean, or they do it a lot with these when they do these draws. But they did, like, both men couldn't get up in time. And I really thought that was cool and unique. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
Me either.
JoJo announced that neither man won, so neither will be joining Raw. Fans chanted TNA. And
I think WWE kind of cut away quickly once those TNA chants were going.
I'm shocked Angle didn't come out and do the both of you really impressed me, but more importantly, you impressed all of them. You both got a job.
But that is also kind of a baby face thing to do.
Yeah.
And it makes Sammy and Kevin both baby faces. And
it does.
So if they want to keep him heels, I'm curious to see where they go with it. If it's something as easy as they just get drafted or something anyway, then that's kind of a letdown. But hopefully they got. I hate these firing storylines because they never, obviously they never are fired.
Nobody believes it.
But not just that, but they're on TV the following week. They don't give it a few weeks to, settle in or to bake, I guess.
Yeah. The final match of the night: The Miz, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. The Miz Taraj versus Jeff Hardy, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins. They all got a chance to shine here. The three baby faces, that's for sure. And like Matt said, big finisher spot fest at the end. We're just going on and on and on. Seth did get the curb stomp in the Miz for the pin and win. But yeah, I was expecting a swerve or something at the end with how much they just kept that going. And then instead we got the commentary desk saying,
weird.
New season starts next week.
It was uncomfortable for me and weird.
Yeah, it was kind of a heelish thing to do.
It made me, for me, it was something's coming. Someone's coming. Someone's coming. And it felt like a letdown because of it. And poor Jeff Hardy, I'm telling you, effed his back up royally on that second Swanton. Go back and watch it.
I have to go
back. Poor guy.
Man, I hope not.
He won't be injured, but I'm talking back spasms at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Good main event. I think with just how much they were doing this show, I was kind of in that same thing, Matt. I was expecting someone to come out or, someone's music to hit just because they had overbooked it to that point where it seemed like that's what they were doing. I was like, is it Big Cass or someone like that? Even though it doesn't really.
Big Cass is the show closer.
Yeah, you never. I mean, it was surprise after surprise. So you almost felt like there was one coming. They should have just saved Hardy coming out at the end and not have him come out earlier. Like have the two of them in a mystery party. But regardless, it's nitpicking. I guess it was really, really, really fun show.
Oh, absolutely. This was a great Raw because instead of just telling a story, I mean, they just gave us fan service essentially tonight.
Yeah, and that's also one of the negatives. No big story.
But with the shakeup, what are they going to do? You don't start. I mean, even Joe and Roman, like, okay, now it's a co-branded pay-per-view, but they called their shot on that. We know what's happening in Saudi Arabia with Brock and Roman. But anything more than that would take away, I think, any suspense for next week. I
think you could have done something with Lesnar. I think, he just had that brutal match. He retained. He came across as a killer. Man, Lesnar's so limited now. With the schedule, and he doesn't do promos.
Did he come across? Did he really come across like a killer for the first time? I don't think he did.
Yeah, I think so. With him bashing Roman up and then just beating him clean.
Wait, I take that back. With the forearms, that did do it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if Lesnar would cut a promo here and there, just do something more. Because I'm a big Lesnar fan. I think he adds a lot, but I'm sick of the promos with Heyman and Heyman standing there and Lesnar smirking, and it's just gotten so old.
There's nothing wrong with saying. There's nothing wrong with. You're not crazy for saying that. You know what I mean? Every act has the opportunity to get old. It's old.
Yeah.
It would have been nice. I mean, I want more of the, just I don't give a shit about your kids, Brock Lesnar. Yeah. Can you imagine tonight if he just came out and he was like, Roman Reigns, last night was your big night. You waited for this whole time. You did this. It was your big moment. You failed. To me, it was Sunday. Whatever.
Yeah. You could keep him short and sweet. I'm not saying he should be cutting 15-minute promos, but just something different. And maybe drop Heyman because Heyman's gotten
Jesus. Even last night with the Suplex City, bitch. It's like.
Yeah. I love Heyman, too. I'd like to see him with someone else. Just him and Brock. That pairing is just old. Like, I love Heyman with Punk. When you have someone he could kind of feed off of a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So cool, Raw. Curious what they do with SmackDown tomorrow to kind of wrap some things up.
Yeah, who do you see going to SmackDown? They're obviously going to do some people. My guess is Andrade Cien Almas.
Do you think they tipped their hands by saying 55 times tonight Seth Rollins doesn't want to go to SmackDown? They said it too many times for my liking.
Did.
I hope.
Did kind of make it a point to say that, and they were calling him Monday Night Rollins. But he does have that shirt that's kind of new. So,
but merchandising, as we've learned, is completely separate from.
It is
creative.
Yeah.
Did you ever think, hey guys, did you ever think "Burn It to the Ground" would ever be like a chant or over? I didn't.
I never thought the Architect would be over. Since when are Architects this really cool thing?
Well, the fans aren't chanting Architect.
They're not chanting Architect,
Burn It to the Ground.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, people even refer to him as that. But no, Burn It Down. I mean,
like, would you chant it? Would you when he's coming out? Burn it to the ground.
I think there's a lot of shit that people chant along with and pop for that is dumb. The house that AJ Styles built. My name is Paul Heyman. There's some things where it's like, come on, guys. Look, Enzo's thing.
One?
Yeah.
The best one of all time. Yes. Yes and no. Come on. No way would that have ever gotten over with anybody else at any given time.
No. But it's so simple it works, though. And there's something.
Well, it worked with Daniel Bryan. If
it's the guy behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
If John Cena was doing it, right. Yeah.
I'll say The Rock even. No way does it work the same way.
Yeah. The Rock would have looked like a complete goof doing it. Like if that was his thing, and maybe
that's what this is. Maybe we just answered our own question right there, Raj. Because it's Seth Rollins, he's super hot and over right now. He just got something super corny over.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's that.
And you know how that all started too. Vince didn't. Seth was saying in an interview that Vince just didn't like that pause in his entrance music from the beginning to where it starts.
Oh yeah.
And so he wanted something there, so they came up with "Burn It Down," and now it's a catchphrase.
I thought they took it from the video game commercial he did. I don't know why I thought that.
That could have been where the idea came from to use that phrase. Yeah,
they should let 2K marketing do more and influence WWE creative.
Oh my God, hell yes! I would so sign on for that.
Yeah.
Wait, really quick. Did you see the video game commercial last night where they have a Cena Nuff package?
Yeah, that was 2K18.
What is that about? Did I miss something? What's in that pack?
You get like a statue. You get like 3 playable John Cenas. It's kind of lame. It's like $180, or it was $180 when it was new.
Does he get booed or something more? Like what's the?
Oh no! It's like a fan of John Cena package, even with the name.
Yeah, they're playing off of it to make it something positive. Something that people said is a negative thing.
Oh, okay.
Until they completely redo those games, I'm not buying another year. I feel like 2K16 was fun, but 2K17, 2K18, it's just 2K18 is garbage.
I didn't get it. I 17 is my last one.
Yeah, they got to redo so much with that game.
Real quick, I got to say about this crowd at Raw tonight. I thought it was one of the better WrestleMania crowds.
Oh yeah,
in the sense of they weren't overly obnoxious.
I agree.
Granted, they cheered for No Way Jose like crazy, but other than that, I thought they were really good.
They did a good job.
Like it wasn't.
They did a good job.
Yeah, they weren't as annoying as some of the other Mania crowds in the past. Post Mania.
Well, because Roman's segment was short and Samoa Joe came out halfway through it.
Well, not just that. It's just, beach balls and all this stuff, and them chanting for other stuff, and CM Punk, and Cesaro having to go in the crowd and stab a beach ball. Like you didn't have any of that stuff.
I thought we'd see some beach balls for sure.
Or just the fans trying to take over and hijack segments, and they didn't. There wasn't any of that. So I thought it was a awesome crowd and a really fun show.
Yeah, see how SmackDown is
and
tomorrow
they chant,
night.
"We are scumbags." So.
Yeah. They're in New Orleans tomorrow night. Now, there was online someone that was on a flight back listed the people that were on the flight with them, including a lot of NXT folks. And Andrade and Selena Vega were on a flight back. But who knows? They could fly back to New Orleans tomorrow.
Yeah, where were they flying to? Orlando?
Yeah, it was a flight to Orlando. Sanity, I believe, was on it.
I mean, those were the guys I would expected. Was Sanity, Almas, iconic duo.
Yeah,
these would be the ones I'd expect.
Yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow night on SmackDown.
I heard Seth and Finn were playing with beach balls after Raw, is what Jack O'Bean is saying. So, well, at least they didn't dominate the show. Yeah. Real quick, they announced the WWE Network subscriber count. 2.1 million to 2.12 million total subscribers following WrestleMania. So their highest ever, obviously.
Where were they before it?
So last year at this time, they were at the day after. It was 9% up from last year. But total paid, let's see what. So last year was 1.8 million. This year is 2.1. I think a lot of that probably had to do with Ronda Rousey. I think
We can't trust it. We can't trust this statistic. We know this. There's 55 accounts opening and shut.
And that's another thing. Someone asked that, like, how many of those are legit new subscriptions or renewals?
Yes.
And they wouldn't say.
Is it me being a cheap ass? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I think at least 50 are Raj.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Yeah. Their average paid subscribers for the second quarter, 1.77 million. So even though total, you take out the free and everything, average paid was like 1.7, 1.8 million. So there was that. WrestleMania brought in 14.1 million. Yes.
Good Lord.
So, I mean, that event's a beast.
You know what I'm always impressed with? What the city's economics were that weekend.
Yeah. And I don't know if they have. They will release that at some point, but
it's always insanity.
Yeah, it's like 100 million or something.
Because it's the city that gives you the stat.
Yeah, well, think about how much you spend in the city when you go compared to how much you're spending on the wrestling event itself. I mean, it's tons more to the city.
Oh yeah,
with the hotel, and restaurants, and everything. So. Yeah, it's huge. Also, they said that the tiered network subscriber, the tiered WWE network, so having different tiers, is coming sooner than later. So,
what does that mean?
So they would have like $20 a month, you get everything. Like for $5 a month, you get just the pay-per-views. So you'd have like 3-4 different subscription tiers, kind of like how Netflix still does that, right?
We should have shut our mouths, damn it. We should have said we paid $20.
Netflix does it for 4K streaming and beyond a certain number of devices, I believe.
Okay.
I mean, look, I'll pay at least $5 a month more if I can get true HD on the WWE network and not the 720. If you either give me 60 frames, 4K, like I'm all over that.
Yeah.
But I think what they talked about was you'd be able to watch Raw and SmackDown sooner. I mean, in the past, they've talked about that as being one of the things they would.
I mean, they've thrown out surveys for tons of stuff, like having indie promotions on, getting, early discounts to live events, things like that. So we don't know exactly what they're planning to do, but they're definitely planning on it.
Then they did answer today that they're looking for more creative ways to involve the women's division more in programming, and they're not ruling out network offering.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great move.
Let's see. We'll see. It depends what they do. If they show it, you tape a show after 205 Live.
It can't be another 205 Live.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. But no, look, tonight was good. See what tomorrow holds.
Yeah, and if you guys ever miss us, make sure to subscribe to us on Facebook, subscribe to the Facebook group, facebook.com/Wrestling Inc. Replays of these podcasts are on noon Eastern the following day on our Facebook page. So,
what about your website?
And of course, WrestlingInc.com was always, man. I had to expand the number of articles on the homepage. It's like 100 now because there's just been so much stuff over the last few days. So tons and tons of news.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. I noticed that.
Yeah. So it's longer, but at least you don't have to keep scrolling and go to page after page to see everything. So.
No, it's hot, man. I couldn't believe it last night. It's like we got done 7 hours of wrestling, talked about it for close to 2 hours, and then I'm just reading all the stuff online.
Yeah.
We were bumped way down.
Yeah, I had a weird question for you guys. When you watch so much wrestling, do you have like wrestling related dreams? And
yes.
Yeah.
I have that where I'm like waking up, I'm like, wait, was Samoa Joe was he just cooking breakfast? Like,
Did Kurt Angle really name drop TNA on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's going on? So it's been I need a couple good nights sleep.
Well, tomorrow night, SmackDown Live, the Andre doc on HBO.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that thing looks awesome.
What time?
Good
Here, let me double check here. I got it right here. The HBO, they've sent me a screener which I haven't been able to check out yet. Says premieres this Tuesday. What time?
Probably 8 p.m.
Yeah, probably the usual.
DVR it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, and we'll talk about that hopefully on I think if we all watch it, we'll talk about that Wednesday when we're back here 12 noon Eastern on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Talk about SmackDown, anything else that develops. It's not over, folks. WrestleMania week still. Soldiers on for another day or two.
All right. Take care, guys. Check out WrestlingInc.com.
BP Matt Morgan, Raj Giri _303 at Glenn Rubenstein on Twitter.
10 Eastern. Everyone's saying 10 Eastern Andre for the Andre doc on HBO.
Gotcha. So right after SmackDown.
After SmackDown.
So until next time.
Yeah.
This has
Mixed
been
match challenge is done, so it'll be
no more of that.
You'll just be missing 205 Live.
Sorry, 205. So until Wednesday, folks, on behalf of the Blueprint, Mr. Raj, and well-groomed Glenn, we'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.